Hello, this is Timo and this is another video of my project where I'm talking and building my old Lego. Today we're not going to build, well, not really, a bit maybe, but we're going to talk about the two train systems that Lego had where the train was powered from the rails. We're talking about the so-called 12-volt system and the 9-volt system. I just put two little catalogs there just to give a quick impression of the most iconic train sets of those two Lego train systems. Here you have the 12-volt system with the iconic high-speed train that, as far as I remember, was available from 85 till 1990. And then here you have the Metroliner, which was available from 91 until, I believe, 2003. I think there was also like a second release again of that same train because Lego probably realized it was quite popular. And yes, let's just check to the major specifics of the tracks. The 12-volt system, 9-volt system. The 12-volt system is easily recognizable with the middle powered rail, which was removable. I will show you later. And the 9-volt system is easily to recognize. It looks more like a realistic train track. And the electricity was just coming from the tracks itself. And if you take a look, yes, this was mostly how most kids started to play with the trains in the 80s. Just a track without any power rail for the push and pull trains. And then later you could just add the third rail track to have your trains powered. And the 9-volt tracks were already ready for powered trains. I think they also never released push and pull trains for smaller kids. Yeah. I found this interesting flyer, I would call it. Maybe I can just hold it above a bit. This is the flyer that was available in the toy stores in, like, I guess November, December 1990, which was announcing the switch from the 12-volt system to the 9-volt system. And of course it's in Dutch because back then I was living in Holland. And it's basically saying like, your trains will still run, but you need a different system. And that was the new system on the other side of the flyer. And I don't think these were all the sets that were available with the 91 batch, but maybe the most iconic ones. The freight train is all here, but for example, the crocodile locomotive, I don't see it here. Yes, but I still remember this flyer, and that was basically saying like they will replace the system, but the old system, the old tracks and everything is still available till 1994. And then if you opened it, you could still see, yeah, everything that was still continue to be available for the next 3 years. Yeah. This video will all be about the difference, and I was thinking maybe on some point when I have all the sets that I have built, then maybe I will just make one video about the 12-volt system and one video about the 9-volt system, because especially with the 12-volt system, there's so much to talk about. It's a system that was available from 69 till 1990. I mean, imagine it was released when there was the moon landing. So just for perspective, although the first tracks that were released in 1969 were blue colored, but it was basically the same system, and they improved it a bit in 1980. They made the tracks gray, and they made also this clicking system, which was more stable, to make the tracks more stable. And before it was basically, I mean, this is just an example of a normal 2x8 Lego plate. But before it was just a system without this clicking system. So then it just also was easily getting, breaking apart again the tracks. So that's basically the difference. But as I said, when I do the 12-volt video with all the sets, maybe I also show a bit of this so-called blue era, of the blue tracks. I don't have the powered rail, but I have the normal tracks also in blue. Yes, so it is a lot on my table. So let's just move those flyers away. We checked them already. Maybe we put this one on the top, so I can still later talk a bit about the 12-volt system if that's necessary, like what was all available. Because so the chains was those tracks, but the disappointment the disappointment that it had this chains was that in the 12-volt system there were a lot of more things available, like remote control stuff, you know, especially since the 1980, when there was the upgrade to the gray tracks, the gray era. You had like signals and rail crossings and all. I said it like a decoupler or something, when you decouple two trains remotely, and that was really great in that time. And when they switched to the 9-volt system, all these extra features were just gone and never came back anymore. So the trains maybe were running smoother, the tracks looked nicer, but unfortunately they decided not to continue this huge assortment of variety of products, tracks, you know, and signals, everything. So then you had the 12-volt and the 9-volt motor block, and especially from the bottom there's a big difference in those, of course, because the 12-volt system, I put here a pen so I can maybe easily point it out. So the 12-volt system had those pins who were like sliding along the powered rail. I think when I will do the 12-volt system and the 9-volt system videos separately, I will also just make them run, because the 12-volt system had this specific noise, was quite noisy because of those slides. It was basically like sliding 4 pieces of metal along the tracks. And yes, you can see the 9-volt system is just totally clean on the bottom side. It's also lighter, just. So those are the motor blocks. Maybe I can just put it a bit on the side to focus a bit more on the motor blocks. So they both have a hole here, and with the 12-volt system, that was a spot where you could put a third wheel, maybe for a steam engine or something, or some locomotives that just are nicer with more wheels. And then you could even put, I don't know what's the name for this in English, but I mean, mostly steam engines have this. It's an external way, I think, to without cogwheels, to make all the wheels be connected with the power supply and mechanically. And so yeah, then you had this. This is not going well. I remember there's always a way with steam engines. you have to put those poles the opposite, otherwise it will not turn. But I don't know if it's working now. Yes, now you can see it. Now it's just turning when you turn the wheels, but it should go a bit smoother. So this was one of the accessoires you had for the motor block with these wheels also. I don't know if I can still get them off. Yeah. So that's the motor block of the 12 volt. And then the 9 volt motor block also had those holes, but I don't think there were ever extra wheels available. But for some reason they had this preparation for this future. What the 9 volt motor blocks had was this nice piece that you could put around it, and then immediately it had a way more realistic look. And I can hold it maybe closer to the camera in this case. Yes, and then you really had this different, I mean, if you remove it, it's just a very boring motor block. But with these things on it, it just immediately had this professional look, this realistic look. Yeah. So, yeah, let's just do it like this. So those were the motor blocks. Then, yeah, maybe I first just continue on the power supply. So then you had the 9 volt, or let's start with, then you had the 12 volt power unit and the 9 volt power unit. And this one has, of course, in the old days you didn't have plug systems, because with the new one you just had this this adapter to put it, like plug in it. So well, it's very obvious there's a huge difference. It's also way lighter. It almost doesn't weigh anything, this one, but this one is quite heavy. And so first of all, this power unit was when you got it, you also got like it was built from Lego Technic bricks, and you could actually build like a kind of joystick, like for really have this driving experience. I think maybe in a later video I will also build that one. I just saw it too late with preparing this video that I actually could have done that now also, but not a video. And then there's this little extra part, and actually that was the spot where you could connect all those remote panels. I can maybe show them briefly here. I think they are displayed somewhere here. Yeah, so maybe I could do this maybe in this camera to be a bit closer. So all those touch panels, like here, and this one, and this one, you know. So you could connect them all to the power unit, and then you could also remotely control like the signals and the switches. And I don't see it on this picture, but there was also a remote control to rail crossing. So those are the power units, and then those power units, the 12 volt, had just like a cable connected to one of the powered rails, and you just had to connect it. I think it's on the opposite, it's on this side. You just had to plug it in. And by the way, there were like more cables available, also with little lights. you could actually lighten up your entire Lego city with this. But the problem is I have a lot of these wires, these cables are just, I guess because they are quite old, they are already more than 30 years old, and they just got really like the plastic got off, you know. So I don't know if I can still reorder them. But this cable is still fine. Yeah, but it's in general a bit a problem that all those cables, the 12-volt system cables, 90% of them are just useless anymore. The plastic is gone and you only see the metal, and I guess that's for power supply really a bad thing. It will just I call it the electricity, the power will just leak too much, I think it's called, right, when it's losing the power. I'm not such a specialist with electricity stuff. Yes, and then in a 9-volt system had this I still don't know the name. I already had a video where I didn't know it. I still didn't check it. The connectors, I don't know. And you could just put them like this in a rail, I mean this spot, because there's like also a gap where you can actually put a cable underneath the track, and then it's just smooth on the table. Yeah, so and then you just plug that, oh no, you didn't plug it, you just, like a Lego brick, you just plugged it there. And that was the different. Also the 9-volt system cables, actually, a lot of them are actually the same like this, actually are broken and not useful anymore. So yeah, let's arrange it a bit again, because it gets such a mess with all this stuff here. So so that's the straight tracks. So of course the 9-volt straight track. Let's first talk about how to connect those. So first of all, the 12-volt system, it was a bit like time consuming, because you really actually had to build the entire track, you know. So, and of course, when you have a second track, then it was, do you call it sleepers? Do you call it sleepers? Things underneath the track? I think it's sleepers also. It's just straightly translated from Dutch. So this is just how you put it together. And then, yeah, for the rail, you always had to lift it up a bit. And then you could continue with the next track, with the next powered rail. Yeah, and yes, the 9-volt system, actually you can do it with one hand. Finished. So that was a huge improvement. Yeah, but it was a pity, because if they would have continued, so if they would have switched to the 9-volt, but still continuing also with having all this nice extras like a remote control stuff, I think the 9-volt system would have become way more popular, and because they discontinued, actually, I don't know if I mentioned it, the 9-volt system was introduced in 91, discontinued in, well, 2007 was the last year it was available, and then they took the same proportions and just made completely plastic tracks with it. The trains return to be like battery driven. Actually, I say return because I think the first trains, the Lego trains, also started to be powered with batteries. And so today Lego also again has trains powered with batteries, which of course is inconvenient, because you always have to replace the batteries. And with these two systems, you could also always just start making your trains run, and you never had to replace anything. You just could play forever, let's say, with it. So that's how to connect those two, how to connect those two systems, you know. Like, yeah, as you can see, taking it apart again, a lot of hassle. Yeah, So that was like a really downside of the 12-volt system. I guess when it was introduced, they really wanted to still have this Lego feel and just making the tracks out of different bricks, and this is more like one piece. So, you know, not a lot of building stuff to build there. So, and then, yes, I think what's still left is the switches, which of course is also a thing. Let's put it a bit nicely in the camera again. So, and yes, it's very obvious, of course, the difference. By the way, the geometrics of both systems stayed mostly the same. The curved tracks and the straight tracks have exactly the same geometrics. But as you can see with the switches, that was a different story. The 12-volt system just ended up with, you could just continue with two straight tracks, which had a quite narrow distance. So in the 12-volt system, it was impossible to make trans run wider than 6 studs. And then the 9-volt system had this kind of switch which made the parallel track more distant. And yes, you could just continue there. And then actually you had this, I think it's 8 studs distant. So you could actually also make trains that were way more wider, which in the Lego community is done a lot. You know, if you want to make a train looking more realistic, then it should definitely be like at least 10 studs maybe wide to make it look good. So there was this yes, let's say a benefit, but the downside of these switches is that if you connected another switch on the other side, you know, to make like a switch from 2 different tracks, the train was just like going like this, because as you can see, the curve is going this direction, but then there's a short part where it's going back, you know. So imagine if you connect another switch the other direction, then it would just like be like a curved roller coaster, you know. So that's the downside. And the downside about this one, what I was just saying before, the tracks were quite close to each other. So if there was anything sticking out of the trains, or if there was a curve coming immediately, you know, then it was sometimes happening that they touched the other and that they derailed. So that was a downside. And again, the 12-volt system, you know, it's like all bit more in different parts. What I found out that's actually a really interesting thing is that they should have printed this switch piece also in the other direction, but I did a bit of research and it's only printed like this. So for the right switch, what I have here now is actually showing the wrong direction, because it should show wait, like this. It should actually show where the curve is going to, but it's like showing the different direction. So that's like a little detail that I found out actually that was not correct. So they didn't want to print make 2 prints. So so as you can see, you can take it apart, and this one is only like, which I think most kids don't have intact like this anymore, because the other switch I have, this is totally broken here, these parts. And yes, I mean, if it's on the floor and you're playing as a kid and you step on it, which is very hurtful, and then it was just broken. So one of the switches I have, this thing is not possible anymore, you know, to put this I call it handle, I don't know how you say it in English. So yeah, then another thing is that the 12-volt system, or the 12-volt system in the gray and the blue era tracks, This was also available, there was also a switch available without powered rail, because of course, as you can see, in case of the switch track, you cannot remove those tracks in the middle. So there was also a switch available without those powered tracks, which were really, really easy to break, because you can imagine if these parts are all not there, then it's a very, very fragile construction. So I have two of them, but they are both just broken. Somewhere here, and then it's just in different pieces. You can still use them when you just connect them with Lego bricks. By the way, this is also like an extra that I think I never used it like that. I never used it with those on it. I always used it with like this. And you can also see there the major problem that I really found out again now when I was just cleaning those tracks, is that also the straight tracks, also the little pieces, they are just like not straight anymore, bent. And yes, and the 9-volt system doesn't have this problem at all. So that's also, yeah, I don't know what it is in the construction, something wrong, but I think the thing is that especially those switches, all the pieces you see are actually glued on it. So I think when there's just like a tiny tolerance, or maybe some parts are expanding, then it's just starting to bend. And then you have this wiggling thing. Yeah. So those switches, yes, I think it's all. So the curves, you have the curves. Yeah, you have to put them together again with the 12-volt system. And what's interesting about the curves in the 12-volt system is that so this is how you get it, you know, when you start as a young child playing with the push and pull train. I have my very first Lego train set, a push and pull train. I'm very excited to build it on some point, because it's really my first Lego train. Yeah, but then the track was just looking like this without the powered rail. But so what I wanted to show is that, I don't know if you can see it. Let's try. Yeah, now you can see it, I think. So the inner curve is just smooth, and the outer curve is like the straight track pieces with a little, can you see it? There's like this little, like a cogwheel, like little teeth. And so my explanation is, I think there's two explanations for this. This can just be to separate those two, so that you know immediately when you take it out of your box, okay, this is the inner curve, and this is the outer curve, because of course they have different sizes. But I also know that there is this phenomenon, this thing that occurs when a train is going in a curve, that because the inner curve is just shorter, the wheels tend to slip, and in the real trains it's solved by, it's a cone shape, the wheels. So that's a trick to avoid this thing. But since the Lego train wheels actually don't have this, I think that's the reason that they made the inner curve smooth, so then it can slide a bit. And the reason that the other tracks all have this little zigzag teeth is, yeah, of course, for the grip. And talking about the grip, I forgot to mention the 12-volt motor blocks also were. There were also like elastics included, which are totally destroyed because they just dried out. So I don't have them anymore. So I don't know if I can reorder them, because I think with the 12-volt system, when you don't use this this rubbers, this, I don't know how you call it, these elastics, then it will just slip. It will not have enough grip to move. Yeah. So yes, let's see. I don't know if I mentioned everything. Maybe we can just start. When we arrive on the finish of the video, we can maybe try to put all the different tracks just displayed here in the top camera. And yes, so I already was building some 9-volt train sets. I didn't build yet 12-volt train set, because they are older and I still have to collect the bricks together. But but on some point I think it's really nice when I have all those sets built together, then it's maybe nice to make 2 more videos dedicated to every system separately. Yeah, like this. So now it's clearly to see the difference. Yeah, and then I can put maybe like this. Then you have everything included, or I can just build also like this and make it a bit more advanced, like nice looking. I don't know how this, not very. Yeah, that's also with the 9-volt system. I think so. It was discontinued in 2007, and I just think they could have done more with it, you know, because actually it's a very steady system with those tracks, and the motor blocks were also running very smoothly and everything. So that's always a pity, you know, when they just don't take everything out of it, you know. It had just a lot of potential. Yeah, that's a pity. Because yeah, if you look at this flyer, I mean, it was just not everything actually, even. There was just way more available still from the 12-volt system. And just imagine if they would have translated this to the 9-volt system, you know. And then, yeah, and then the thing is that they discontinued it even in 2007. They discontinued this system that the train is just powered by the tracks, which is super efficient, and batteries. I'm thinking also about the monorail system, the airport shuttle, which is powered by batteries, and which was always very inefficient because they were just running out of power, and then you just had to, charge the batteries again, or you needed to have a second battery available, which I didn't have. So I was always, I think in the night, always charging the batteries again so that I could play with it again the next day. Yeah, So that's what we have here. Let's make a nice shot here. Something like this. Hoppakee. Just thinking how I can just put it that the final shot is also pretty. So yeah, that's the difference. That's the difference. I don't know if I forgot anything. I think it was a tiny bit chaotic because I didn't really know in which order, how to tell the story. Maybe I forgot some stuff, but that's okay because I will make, on some point, I will make separate videos for the 12 volt and the 9 volt system. So then everything I forgot, I can still just talk about it in those videos. Yes, I hope you liked it. This time it was a bit more information. Please subscribe to my channel. That's very important to grow. I really need that. And I wish you a wonderful day. Goodbye.